The return of the frequency they buried. They didn't just erase a civilization, they buried a state of consciousness. Before history was written in swords and crowns, before the sacred was imprisoned in temples and doctrines, there was a lineage of women who didn't need to speak loudly to be heard. They vibrated. Priestesses of a time that isn't past, but living memory. They didn't disappear, they were silenced. Because they carried something no empire could control, the original code. The code of the body as temple, of silence as wisdom, of union as a creative force. The Atlantean Priestess Code. And if you're hearing this now, it's because that frequency has begun to find you. Chapter 1. The Fall of the First Memory. Long before the civilizations that taught us to fear the skies, there was a land that taught us to vibrate with them. Atlantis was not a sunken city. It was a living consciousness, and its heartbeat pulsed in those who knew how to remember without words. There, the feminine was not an accessory. It was spiritual architecture. The priestesses didn't ask for permission. They guarded the balance of the world. With silent rituals, with dances that moved the lines of reality, with eyes that saw before others even dreamed. They were living bridges between worlds, portals between the visible and the invisible. But when the unbalanced masculine tried to domesticate the serpent of wisdom, when logic tried to silence the feeling, when domination replaced the dance, Atlantis began to fall. Not with earthquakes, but with forgetting. Not in stone, but in the soul. And the code? It was sealed in sounds no one hears anymore, in dreams that make no sense, in longings that no one explained, yet still echo inside those who can feel the invisible. You're not remembering something you read. You're activating something that was always yours. Chapter 2. The code is not blood, it's frequency. The world still looks for lineages under a microscope, but forgets that some codes don't live in genes. They live in fields. The Atlantean Priestess Code isn't inherited through blood. It doesn't pass from mother to daughter like a surname. It jumps across time. It ignores DNA. It only awakens in those who carry the right resonance, and that resonance can't be faked. It can only be remembered. You recognize it when a word ignites your chest, an ancient symbol sends chills down your spine, a soft voice brings tears you can't explain. You didn't learn this, you brought this. This code was scattered like a spiritual seed, hidden in cave paintings, in Gnostic manuscripts, in the eyes of the Black Madonna, in spirals and runes, in names only the heart knows how to pronounce. If you feel like you belong to something no one ever explained, it's because the code is trying to wake you up. It doesn't choose status. It doesn't choose family. It chooses vibration, and vibration is the language of the soul. The lineage isn't in your blood. It's in what vibrates when the world falls silent. Chapter 3. Silence was the shield. When the world became dangerous for truth, the ancient ones didn't fight with swords, they fought with silence. The wisdom of Atlantis was not lost, it was camouflaged. Empires could destroy books, burn temples, but they couldn't touch what was sealed in the invisible. The Priestess Code was hidden in forms that only the heart could read, in the stars woven into Celtic tapestries, in the quiet fire behind a woman's eyes, in old songs you never learned, but somehow know how to sing. For millennia, the priestesses were unseen, but they were everywhere. In the woman who felt before she spoke, in the midwife who knew where to touch, in the healer who whispered to the waters, in the girl who dreamed of temples she'd never seen. They knew that true light can't be destroyed, only put to sleep, until the world was ready. We live in a time when veils are thinning, and what was once hidden for protection is now resurfacing with purpose. not to control the outer world, but to reactivate the inner temple. The silence wasn't fear, it was vibrational wisdom, because what is true survives even forgetting. Chapter 4. The Voice Rising Inside You. You thought you were searching for a story, but it was a story that was searching for you. There's a voice that doesn't speak in words. It visits you when the world goes quiet. It pulses when your feet touch the earth. It whispers when you breathe slowly enough to step outside of time. This voice is yours, but also far older than you. It is the memory of those who came before. The ones not found in books, but felt in fires, in dreams, in the gaze of midwives, in wombs that carried more than children. They carried wisdom. The voice of the Atlantean priestess was never silenced. It simply waited for the right moment to return. And it's returning now, in you. You feel it when you reject living on autopilot without knowing why. You cry with music that seems to come from another life. You're drawn to symbols, serpents, stars, and spirals, even if your mind doesn't understand. That voice doesn't want to be worshipped. It wants to be remembered. Because remembering is like unlocking an invisible temple in the middle of a city that never knew it existed. Narrator quote, "You're not discovering anything new. You're just returning to what was always yours." Chapter 5. You are the continuation. They hid the texts, burned the temples, erased the names, but they couldn't erase what pulses inside. The Priestess Code survived because you exist, not because of noble bloodlines, but because the right frequency found a body willing to remember. You are not here by accident. You are here because you carry an invisible inheritance. It's not in your blood. It's in your silences, in the choices you made without knowing why, in your deepest pain, and your most inexplicable love. You don't need permission. You already are. You didn't inherit a title. You inherited a vibrational mission. The mission to remember what the world forgot, to love with presence, to heal with truth, to reunite what was divided within. You didn't come to repeat the story. You came to recode it, not with noise, but with frequency. You are the continuation of everything they tried to erase. And the simple fact that you're feeling this is the proof. Narrator quote, "You don't need to find the code. The code has been waiting for you." The code is already awake in you. You don't need to search in dusty books or ancient tombs, because what you're looking for is already looking for you. If something moved inside you while listening to this, a shiver, a nameless memory, a feeling that won't fit into words, then the code has already begun to awaken. Like this video, if something vibrated within you, share it with someone who also carries this memory, even if they don't know it yet. And write in the comments, "I carry the Atlantean Code," because sometimes all a forgotten lineage needs is someone brave enough to remember.